All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to kick off our College Prep Toolkit series. We'll be hosting 30-minute webinars every Friday this summer from July and June. And so join us on Fridays at 11 a.m. for a new tip, a new trick, so that you can be confident in your college search and start off on the right foot. So we will dig right in. Our first session today is all about your college tool belt. How do you get ready for your search, and how do you really prepare for that process? So let's kick it off with a quiz. And as we go through today, feel free to utilize the chat box and add any questions that you may have, or if you'd like to introduce yourself to the group, you can find that chat box at the bottom of your screen. There's a toolbar, or you can type in Alt-H and that will pull up the chat box as well. So, first question. Colleges only look at your GPA from your first 3 years of high school. Answer, false. We look at your cumulative GPA, which covers all 4 years. Next question. A college prep curriculum doesn't require you take any foreign language courses. Answer, false. Most colleges are looking for at least 2 years of a foreign language. Some more selective colleges may be looking for 3. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Next question. If a college doesn't require that you write an essay, is that it's a waste of time to write one anyways? False. And I'll talk more about the essay down the road. Next question. You can earn college credit for taking AP classes. True, but you do need to take the AP exam in order to qualify for that college credit. It's better to pack your schedule with the most challenging classes possible than to balance out your schedule to fit you. False. We'll talk about class selection too. In order to be admitted to selective schools, you may be required to take specific courses. True. Colleges look at your activities outside of the classroom in addition to your grades and test scores. True. We look at everything, which is definitely to your advantage. Participating in athletics only shows that you're a good athlete. It does not demonstrate anything about your character. False. Being a student athlete or being involved in a student organization definitely shows us a lot about you and who you are. Letters of recommendation are a great opportunity to demonstrate that you're a good student. True. You should wait to apply for scholarships until closer to the time you're attending college. False. You don't want to start too early, but all throughout your senior year and even that summer before your senior year is a great time to start looking into scholarship opportunities and applying for those scholarship opportunities. Don't wait until you're a freshman in college. Many different places provide scholarships, including department stores. True. Even Nordstrom offers a scholarship. Only people with good grades get scholarships. False. There is a scholarship for everything. You would be amazed at the different criteria and types of scholarships that exist. So, where do you begin? How do you kick off this process of looking for different colleges and the different opportunities that are out there? And I'll warn you, there are a lot. Throughout the US, there's about 3,000 different colleges and universities. And even here in Ohio, there's over 150 different opportunities for education post-high school, whether that's a trade school, a community college, a public university, a private university. There are a million opportunities out there. So where do you start? First, it's okay to have a long list. Use your resources that you have. Take advantage of your guidance counselor, your family, your friends. They can all offer some suggestions or ideas. Ask them where they're looking or where they went to college or what schools they applied to. You can definitely utilize online college search tools. There are a lot of different opportunities out there. Some of my favorites, I like Niche or Niche, depending on how you want to say it. And I also think Big Future, which is a website hosted through College Board, the people who bring us SAT, offers some good resources as well. But you can also find different colleges and universities through college fairs or college visits, whether those are in-person or virtual ones. Same goes for high school visits, online or in person. And most of colleges and universities will post and advertise when we plan to visit different locations. So if you want to see when a specific school is coming to your high school or your area, you can always go onto their website and find out. Or you can search directly through our college websites. So you can go to, quick Google search will find you any college or university that you're considering. And all these will help you get a jump start of what's out there and how you can narrow down your search. So some things to consider as you begin creating your list. Are you looking to attend a private institution, a public college, a community college? Are you looking for a single-sex institution like Ursuline, or maybe an HBCU, a historically Black college or university? Are you looking for certain athletic programs? How far away do you want to be from home? What do you want to major? Sometimes that will help you narrow down the colleges that you're considering. Maybe the academic profile and where you fall within that academic profile. Housing options. Is it important to you to live on campus? Is it important to have that option to be a commuter? Different extracurricular activities, the learning environment and learning style of that college, campus atmosphere, the people. Do you just vibe with those people? Different support services, safety, the quality of the faculty members, and the makeup of the student body. Are those students similar to you? Or maybe you're looking for students who are different than your background. So all those things are important as you're considering your best fit. How many schools should you consider? I would say no more than 15. You should not apply to more than 15, and even that's very high. But if you have your heart set on one single institution and you know that you qualify for a student there, then maybe you do only end up applying to one college. I would say on average, most students end up applying to somewhere between 5-ish to 10-ish. So that range is up to you. And for most institutions, it's pretty easy to apply, especially if they are a member of the Common Application. So the Common Application allows you to fill out one application. It can send out to any of the member colleges throughout the US or internationally, and that would kick off the application process at those institutions. But remember, the more colleges you apply to, probably the more essays you're gonna need to write, the more materials you're gonna need to turn in and complete. So be aware of that the more schools you apply to, the larger your workload becomes. And just more you need to keep track of in terms of, has this school received my transcript yet? Does this school have my essay yet? This school needs 3 letters of recommendation. How am I going to get those to them? So watching out for those supplemental materials that they may require. So I would say most students kind of take a 3-sided approach. What are your safety schools that you're looking at? What are some realistic schools that you're really interested in that you also have a high likelihood of being enrolled at or admitted into? And then maybe 1 or 2 reach schools for you, something that's a dream school. But I would also highly recommend taking a peek at each institution's first-year profile so that you can see the type of student that they're enrolling, their average GPAs and test scores, so that you can kind of compare them to your profile and make sure that those match up. So next, what happens? So you typically will apply online, and then the college will have your application. And at that point, you'll need to send in all those additional materials that they require. So like at Ursuline, for example, we require your high school transcript, and we also require your ACT or SAT score plus an essay. So once we have those 3 extra items, then we'll be able to review your application and send you a decision. And colleges review applications on different schedules. So that's another thing to be aware of. Sometimes they will not release decisions until a specific date, sometimes all the way to March you could be waiting. Sometimes you'll hear back very quickly. So it does vary from school to school. But at Ursuline, once we have everything, we review your application right away. You get a decision back in about 2 weeks. And so just like how every college and university may have a different timeline, there are also different criteria in that we're looking at, and the review process may be different. So for some schools that are less selective, maybe your community colleges or public universities, they're looking, do you meet the basic requirements? And that's all that they need to know. For some more selective institutions, some semi-selective places like Ursuline, for us, your counselor will review your application first, then it goes to our director to be reviewed before final approval. And at some other more highly selective institutions, it may go through a committee to be reviewed by a variety of both admission professionals, faculty, support services on campus, just whatever mixture that makes up their admission review committee. So you've applied, what now? What are we looking at when we're reviewing your application? And these are all good things to keep in mind as you're going into your senior year. How can I best position myself so that my application is competitive for the type of school that I'm applying to and the programs that I'm applying to? Because that's the other thing. You may have a certain school that you're interested in, but then there may be additional requirements or criteria for specific programs. For example, engineering, education, nursing all tend to have criteria above and beyond the standard admission criteria. So be mindful of that as well if you're considering one of those more competitive programs. So we're looking at your high school coursework. And how do you make sure that you're competitive in your high school classes? We want to make sure that you have a strong college prep curriculum. So we're looking at for 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, and at minimum, I would say 2 years of a foreign language. Like I said, some schools require 3, and some colleges may require you to take a foreign language once you enroll as a college student if you haven't met that criteria in high school. So even then, it might not count you out, just to ask around. The other thing that we're looking at, which I'll talk a little bit more on our next slide, is what type of classes are you taking? Are you taking an honors class, maybe an AP class, maybe you're taking IB courses, or maybe you're taking a college class. You're involved with, here in Ohio, we have College Credit Plus or CCP. Other states call it different things. Sometimes it's dual enrollment courses. And so what are those things maybe that you need to be taking advantage of at your high school that push your, kind of outside of your comfort zone, make sure that you're challenging yourself. Like I mentioned before, we're looking at your GPA, and we do look at all 4 years. So we want to see positive trends. We want to make sure that if you had maybe a rough freshman year or sophomore year of high school, that things are improving and that you are doing better and that you are pushing yourself. So positive trends are always a good thing. And like I said, we review all the materials that you send us. So your essays, your supplemental materials, like a letter of recommendation, whether those are required or not, I would highly recommend sending those in so that they can be considered as part of your application. So be mindful of the types of classes that you're scheduling as you're talking with your high school guidance counselor. Like I mentioned, honors, AP, IB classes are all really good opportunities for you. And if your high school doesn't offer those, that's okay too, because your high school counselor will send into the admission offices a profile of your high school. So we will know if those opportunities exist at your school and if they don't. So if they don't, you won't be counted against you per se. That way we know what's available to you, and within that context, have you been pushing yourself? But some of those more high-level courses may earn you college credit along the way. So you might get a jump start on your freshman year in college. But be smart about your choices. We want you to push yourself, but we also don't want you to overload your schedule. We don't want you to overdo it. We want to make sure that you have a healthy balance with your high schools, and that you have time for your extracurricular opportunities and your volunteer opportunities that are also important to the application review process. So, like I said, it's a fine balance between those two things. And depending on the types of schools and the types of programs that you're applying to, they may be looking for specific courses as well. So you may need to make sure that that class is in your high school curriculum so that you can be considered and you can move forward in that program. Great example, our nursing program. We need to make sure that all of our incoming nursing students have completed at least a chemistry course, biology course, and algebra 2. And outside of your high school classroom, we consider a lot of different factors as well. So the extracurricular opportunities that you've been involved with, both at your high school and outside of your classroom or outside of your high school, are important. And we always like to see that you are getting back to your community, whether that's the community as a greater sense or your community as in your little corner of the world. But finding something that you love to do and that really speaks to you. I would rather see someone who is deeply involved and deeply passionate about one or two things versus seeing an application from someone who's done 20 different things, but maybe only that one time, or only volunteered that 1 hour. I would rather see some commitment and loyalty to specific things than a lot of opportunities that really might not mean tons to you as an individual. It's always great if you can showcase any leadership opportunities that you've been involved with. Like I said, both in your high school and outside of your high school. Whether that's, maybe you do something at your church, or maybe you are working part-time. That takes a lot of character, and that takes a lot of responsibility as well. So highlight those too. Be proud of that part-time job that you've been working, that you've been able to find that balance between working and school. Because once you get to college, you may be continuing that skill. And the fact that you already have a jump start on balancing those two things, academics and work, is only a good thing. So highlight those as well. If you are an athlete or you're part of a student organization or club as a leader, once again, that too showcases time management skills. It shows that you have commitment, which are always great things. And then I also highly recommend having and fostering a strong, healthy relationship with your teachers and your school counselors, because ultimately those are the people that you're going to go to when you need a letter of recommendation. And you want to make sure that that letter of recommendation is something that is unique to you and that can only be said about you. There's a big difference between saying, Mary is a great student, she gets all A's, she's a pleasure to have in class, versus Mary is an amazing student, we work together for this specific fundraiser, and she really took leadership over this area and was involved in this way. Those are two very different stories. And so who are those people, who are those teachers, those counselors and those mentors and those adults in your life that can really help shape that letter and that story for you. And demonstrated interest is something that is good to be mindful of. So essentially, colleges and universities keep track of everything. We are data people. We like to keep tabs on things. And so some ways that you can show demonstrated interest and essentially say, hey, I'm really interested in your school, are by doing any of the following things: requesting information online, scheduling an interview, coming to campus for an information session or a tour, attending an event, both in person or a virtual event, meeting with those college admission reps while we're out on the road, responding to emails and text messages and phone calls, and maintaining that contact between you and your admission counselor. And even following those schools on their social media channels can help give you an edge and show that you do have an interest above and beyond in that institution. So some important tips. When it comes to scholarships, like I said, I recommend starting early. You want to see what's out there. You want to see what you qualify for. I recommend a website called FastWeb, I believe it is. And they have a really great search function so you can find scholarships that match you. But scholarships are everywhere. Sometimes your church, different organizations within your community like Rotary Club or Key Club may offer scholarships for local students. Like I said, department stores. There are websites that you can utilize. You can also talk to the schools that you've applied to. They typically offer scholarship opportunities that you can be considered for. Talk to your school counselor, parents, grandparents. Sometimes their job, their work, will offer scholarship opportunities for children of those employees. So explore those too. So keep looking and keep applying. Sometimes those scholarships are renewable. Sometimes they are a one-time scholarship. And there are scholarships that are designed just for students transitioning into college. There are scholarships out there that are for currently enrolled college students. So even after that first year of college, keep applying to scholarships. They still exist out there. There are still ways that you can find those scholarships. Some of my own personal tips, a little extras. Be sure that when you are kicking off your college search process that you have an appropriate email address. Make sure it's family friendly and that it's something that you are regularly checking. So if that means that you're regularly checking your high school email address, great, send us that, use that. If that means you're using your Gmail account, great, send us that one. But make sure it's something that, like I said, you're keeping track of, that you're opening, that you're reading those, and that they are going to you. We love to talk to parents, but it's best to have your email address so that you are receiving those messages, because ultimately it's your college search and it's your decision. So you want to be responsible for that and take ownership of that process. Keep track of deadlines, details, and all those different requirements because they will change from school to school. And allow your recommenders and your school counselors plenty of time to get those materials to us. Know that those things don't happen overnight. And if your deadline is tonight at midnight, it's probably too late. You need to give those people, plenty of time to get those materials to us. And depending on how those materials are coming, they also dictate how much time you need. If it's an email or something they can get to us electronically, sure, that's going to come to us a lot faster than something that might need to be mailed in through the US Postal Service. So keep an eye out for those types of things. You can also contact College Board or ACT to send your test scores directly to the colleges. and some colleges require that you do that. But that too takes time. There's typically about a 3-week turnaround before we see those scores reach us. And be sure to use your essay to your advantage. Take the time to really think through that topic, to proofread, to share it with others. Don't rush that process. Being neat and complete in your thoughts are important. But you can also use your essay as an opportunity to maybe explain something on your transcripts or talk about an opportunity that you had. And we will be hosting a whole another session about writing your college essay that you can dig a little bit deeper into how to do that and how to put your best foot forward. But a bit of a teaser, a lot of times students are writing on the same topic, but your essay needs to be something and say something about you. I love, this is something I pulled directly off of Instagram based on a hashtag. And you can tell that they all had the same idea. It's the same concept, the same topic, if you will. But some people took that topic and really made it their own. And really it says something about them, whether that's the way that they frame the photo or the subject of the photo matter or the way that one introduces color. But, it's that same topic, but some of these are more generic than others. So how can you make your essay stand out from the rest? So I hope this brief overview of the college admission process and how to jumpstart your college search this summer was helpful. Feel free to add any questions to the chat box. Like I said, we will be hosting these 30-minute webinars every Friday at 11 a.m. throughout the summertime. So join us for any and all topics that interest you. You can RSVP at ursuline.edu/visit. But my contact information is here. This recording will be posted on our YouTube channel as well. So you can always rewatch this, refresh your knowledge anytime that you need a quick reference. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to share a bit more about you, and we hope to see you at a future event soon. Have a great day.